Well, I've been told the last 2 or 3 weeks I've been a little more passionate than normal. And so I'm going to try to tone it down a little bit today. What's that? The mustard seed, how many of you in here have ever, hold on. I'm tired of looking like this on the internet. Or like this. Stop taking pictures of me. How many of you have heard the parable of the mustard seed? How many of you have not heard about the mustard seed? Fabulous. That means I don't have to talk about it. So, I'm kidding. The mustard seed, it really is tiny. Has anybody ever seen one? Yeah. They're infinitesimal. They're tiny. Have you ever seen a mustard shrub? They are large. Like it says it's the largest of the shrubs. It's seriously like a tree. Like I looked it up on the Googles because you can see stuff on the Googles. I don't know if you know that or not. But on the there's this place called the interwebs. And when you type things in, you get to see them. And I typed in mustard plant / thing because I didn't know what it was called. But here it is. It's this huge thing and birds actually could land in it and all this stuff. All from this little bitty thing. I thought to myself, how do they survive, right? Like, who waters these things? What kind of water are they using? Is there some kind of gardener that I don't know about that's out there just like in nature, like, you're going to be awesome. And then an acorn turns into, these little things turn into these miraculous, grandiose, and beautiful things, don't they? The reason he likens this to faith, I think, is to kind of help some of the folks who have ever said the following line or lines. I don't go to church because I'm not good enough. I don't go to church because I don't know enough about the Bible. I don't go to Bible study because I feel like I'm not going to know enough and feel dumb around people. I don't join a ministry because I don't know enough about the ministry. All of those, I could go on and on and on. All of those things culminate into one thing: people not feeling like enough. Anybody in here ever felt like they weren't enough? Part of the human condition, right? It's part of what makes us great, actually. It drives us. It drives us to be better than we were yesterday. New parents, do you want to be better than you were before? Yeah. You got a reason now, right? I look at this and I look at our faith and I hear all the things people say and I just am amazed because you already have the faith of a mountain by virtue of showing up. In one of the Gospels that was not put into the Bible, the West Wing, okay, if you didn't laugh, watch that show. It says decisions are made by those who show up. But I'm going to take that further. God's glory is shown through the church by those who show up. However small or great your understanding, however small or great your faith, showing up and giving yourself to the best degree that you have, that's what makes this place what it is. I was a bartender and a lead singer of a rock band for 15 years. Some of you may not know that. I just saw a few eyes go. Yeah. When I decided to become a priest, or rather when God hit me with a shovel and said, "Stupid, go," I told Nicole and she said, "Yeah, that checks out." What? But she knew. She saw in me something that I didn't see in myself. I didn't think I was good enough. I also didn't go to church at the time, so deciding to become a priest and not going to church was a weird kind of thing. But here we are, killing it. And I think that I think this happens with a lot of people. I think that the world tells you you're not good enough for so long that you start to believe it. The world tells you you're not enough, whether it's your job or even your friends, even if they're being funny. That hurts. You're not enough. Strangers, you're not enough. Your love isn't real. Your faith is weak. Your denomination is wrong. You're not enough. But to them I say this: you don't know what it is to walk in our shoes. I keep repeating of the story that I found here when I arrived because I don't want to drill it into those of you who lived it. I want the people who are new here to know it because we need to know our story. When we were coming into this place, we had 4 ministries. 4. We have 41 now. That is not because I am awesome. That is because you are awesome. We had 2 children. Now we have 17. That is not because I had children, because I'm not gonna. Sorry, not sorry. It's because we brought families in who said, this place is pretty dope. The people are nice, and they care about me. We didn't have much of a budget. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a secret that I don't think I've ever said on the microphone. They had 18 months to pay me. Who's stupid enough to take a job where they say you only have 18 months? Because I saw the people here. I saw Eric, who hung on for years and years and did the best he could with a choir that did the best they could. I saw Pete and Ed, who had been in the leadership for a decade, it seemed like, just trying to make it by. I saw Helen still keeping mobile meals together, even though it was falling apart. I saw Bibi trying to organize hospitality. June running a skeleton crew for Altar Guild. You know, June made the bulletins before I got here. Do you know that? June did. Boy, wrestling those away from her was harder than a lot of things I've done in the last 6 years. Am I not doing it right? No, it's not that you're not doing it right. You're just not doing it my way. But after a little while, that small kernel of a church that had dwindled down has grown into something that is beautiful. The smallest of faith in this place kept this place going. There were times, I'm sure, when you all had conversations wondering whether or not you were going to make it, right? People walking out with their heads down is what I've heard, being sad, not wanting to be here. But they still kept coming back, not because of church, but because of faith. Because this place meant something to them. Their faith brought them back. They didn't believe in the church of the resurrection. They believed in Jesus Christ, who would resurrect resurrection. And he would do it through them. But here's the secret. He's going to keep doing it through you. We don't worship a church. We worship in one. The reason we're here is Jesus Christ. It is to make the other people around us feel the love that exudes from the grace that comes onto us relentlessly. As small as your faith may seem at some times, it is a sun to people who are just wallowing in darkness. Do you understand that? How beautiful it is that the tiny modicum of that which you consider your faith is like a blazing star to someone who just wants warmth. While we can't light ourselves on fire to keep the world warm, we absolutely can burn with the light of Christ. And we can do that in very simple and subtle ways. And it starts small. A handshake to somebody you don't know. a kind word to somebody who may not speak to anybody for the rest of the day. Let me tell you a story. Yesterday, Nicole and I decided that it was going to be one of those days where we had the most unhealthy eating habits of any human alive. We wanted bangers and mash because it's right and good and a joyful thing always and everywhere, right? And if you have not had bangers and mash, come see me after church and I will show you the ways. But Nicole loves ice cream too. So she grabbed ice cream. It was, 192 degrees because it's Oklahoma. And she's walking out and there's a man who's standing there and he's got a veteran hat on and he's probably late 70s, early 80s. And they just checked out at the same time, so they walked out together. And she did what I talked about last week. She turned around, she said, "Hi, how are you?" And didn't keep walking because said ice cream was in bag, which normal people would do. She stopped and she listened. 20 minutes later, and melted ice cream, she talked to a man who had served in 2 wars, whose son was going over to Europe to marry someone he fell in love with, who had spent his life, he was a Spanish knight. I don't know if I believe that, but I think it's cool. She got his story, all from one small phrase. She got to hear about a life. That's discipleship, right? How often do you ask someone how they are, a small phrase, and actually stop to listen? How busy are we? Are we too busy to actually listen to our neighbor? Because I think that we can't love our neighbor without listening to them. Am I right about that? How busy are we, even when they try to change our minds or make us feel bad about ourselves? How busy are we to just give them a word of grace instead of a word of hate? It seems to me that the smallest things become the largest things because it doesn't take something big to make a change. It takes something true. If the world is against church, it's only because church hasn't been what it's meant to be, a vehicle and not something that serves itself. I love this place. I love this building, and I will do anything I can to be a good steward of it. But you know what I love more? You. Every single one of you. I say your names when you kneel at communion because I love you and I've listened to your story. I want you to go out and be the best versions of yourselves that you possibly can be so that other people can see the love you exude by who you are as this community. We may not be the biggest church in this city, and that doesn't matter because lives have been changed through it. Teenagers who were hungry found the back door and came in, became acolyte masters. Women who have lost the love of their life have been able to find a piece of sense and joy in this place that they can continue to develop. People who have been shunned from life because of various things have found a home that they can worship God freely in without regard for being judged. And it all started with a small place that said, I love you, and if you're willing to grow with me, we will become a place to spread our branches and allow anyone to land here and call it home. And to that I say, welcome home. Amen.